how did you get involved with the museum?
Well, you know, I dabble in social media. I had never done Facebook before, and then this guy told me about a Facebook page that was trying to retire number 21. So I met a couple of people on there, and then they started talking about memorabilia. And I posted a couple of pictures. And then a week later, I get a message on Facebook, and this guy tells me that he runs the Roberto Clemente Museum, and he wanted to know if my collection was for sale. And I said, no, no, I'm sorry. And he said, well, I would make it worth your while. I said, well, the stuff that you're asking for, I don't think I'd ever find again, even if I had $1 million. I said, and unfortunately for you and my wife, money doesn't mean much to me. It doesn't motivate me in anything that I do. So offering me money doesn't work. So then his name was Dwayne Reeder. Dwayne asked me if I would consider loaning to the museum. And I was like, geez, I live outside of Seattle. You're always on the other coast. I don't know that I could do that. I didn't know this guy. I didn't know anything about it. And then I've told my wife about it, and we've been together since 1980. We just had the 43rd anniversary of our first date was last week. So we've been together a long time. So she says, so let me get this straight. The Roberto Clemente Museum is asking to show your toys. And all I've ever heard about is Roberto Clemente. And you're going to say no? It's locked up in the bank, and it's locked up in a safe in the garage. Nobody ever sees it. She goes, honestly, I'm like, no one really cares but you. She goes, why don't you let other people see it? So I called Dwayne back, and I said, well, okay, I can fly in next week. And what do you want? He gave me a list of things that he was interested in. And we flew there, and it was crazy. He and I hit it off. We finished each other's sentences. We liked the same things. And it was just really, really odd. He's I'm 5'5" and he's 6'4". So we're kind of like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of thing. You know what I mean? So he and I, we got to be pretty good friends really, really fast. And he's really included me a lot in the museum and made me a part of it. And I've really been appreciative. I've had some incredible experiences working there with him. He called me and said a couple of years ago, he says, hey, I know you love Juan Soto. The Nationals are going to be here. Can you come help me? So I flew in, and downstairs at the museum, they have a winery. It's really, really cool. Have you seen photos of it?
I have. Yes, I have.
Okay. So they have a wine club, and if a player buys a barrel of wine, he gets his own type of wine he wants. And they put his logo on the barrel. So there's a club of major league players who all have barrels there. And as they visit through town, they can sample each other's wine. In the back of it is a cigar lounge. And they sit in there and smoke cigars, they drink wine and talk baseball and life and stuff, and then get away from, paparazzi and autograph seekers and people wanting selfies. They can just go there and hang out. And I got to hang out with Juan Soto for a night. It was really cool. He was a super nice kid, just, really well-mannered, polite. I mean, I was impressed with him as a young man. It's really cool when you get to meet people and you find out that they're real people. And I think in that atmosphere, they can just be who they are, not have to worry about, what they say or what they do, just be themselves. I've also got to meet some of my childhood heroes because of that, like Manny Sanguin. I love Manny Sanguin. I mean, he's precious. Okay? He is the Panamanian Buck O'Neill. I would love to see him and Kevin Millar together have a show. That would be hilarious because Manny is just funny. He'll tell you stories about his two favorite Robertos. Obviously, Clemente was his best friend, and Duran, who he partied with in Panama as a child.
Interesting.
Manny was a professional boxer as a teenager, and he became friends with Duran. He told me, you go clubbing with Roberto Duran, nobody bothers you. And then Steve Blass, another super nice man. Al Oliver. Who else? Dave Cash, Bob Robertson, Richie Hebner. I just missed Gene Clines, which really sucked. He died right before I had a chance to meet him. I have his jersey he wore in the '71 World Series, and I was hoping to get him to sign it, but he died like a week before I got there. It was really sad. But I get to meet those guys that I idolized as a kid growing up, and it was just so cool to meet them and have lunch with them, drink wine with them, get to know them as people, and find out that they were actually more cool in real life than I dreamed they would have been. If you told me that I would party with Manny Sanguian one day, I'd say, you crazy. So the museum has been an incredible experience. I get to go in there and play with amazing things. Like the first thing I did for them is I cataloged their entire bat collection. So, Honus Wagner, Roberto Clemente, Willie Stargell, and then every player that goes there seems to feel, for some reason, to show up with a bat that they donate to the museum. So if you go downstairs, there's Pujols bat that he used at home run with. I think it was like number 658 or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's covered in pine tar. It's just laying there on a table downstairs next to the wine bottles. Then Aaron Judge donated one he hit 10 home runs with in the season. He set the record. They're trying to photo match that one now.
That
There's
last
Mike
year.
Trout, Pete Rose. Just so many incredible things there. I left the hotel and went to the museum to catalog some stuff for them, and I got there and they left me a text message saying the coffee's on downstairs. I go downstairs, and right next to it is Roberto Clemente's 1971 World Series MVP trophy, just sitting there. You got to be kidding me, right? So I picked it up and I was like, why the hell did they leave this just sitting out like this, But then later on, Dwayne comes in. He goes, "Oh, I thought you'd enjoy that," and he put it back up. So he took it out for me to have with my coffee. So for a Pirate fan like me, especially with that team and that guy, it's kind of like fantasy land for me. I love the people there. They're all great people. They're all super nice, all very, very passionate about the Pirates and Clemente.